My girlfriend showed up to pick me up from work, but her male colleague was sitting in the passenger seat. She said he gets carsick and had a nasty stomach flu, and that as a colleague I should be more understanding. I nodded and said okay. Then I blindsided her with a breakup she'll never forget. Just for that, my best friend, Alex, stared at me wide-eyed after I finished the story, crushing the paper coffee cup in his hand. He clearly couldn't believe I'd ended things so decisively with Emily, my girlfriend of 4 years. We were already talking about getting married. I was calm, just for that. In everyone's eyes, Emily was an executive at a multinational, pulling in 6 figures. She had no bad habits, was drop-dead gorgeous, and was frankly way out of my league. I should have been the one clinging to her for dear life. But now, just because she let her male colleague take the passenger seat, I was breaking up with her. 5 hours earlier, Emily had come to pick me up from work, just like any other day. I habitually pulled open the passenger door, only to see a young, unfamiliar man sitting there. He gave me a sheepish smile, mumbled a timid "Hey, Jay," and tugged at the blazer draped over his shoulders. It was Emily's. My girlfriend, sitting in the driver's seat, explained on his behalf. Ethan gets carsick and he's not feeling well. I'm dropping him home first since it's on the way. You can sit in the back today. She said it so matter-of-factly, her expression so natural, that for a second I almost thought it was perfectly reasonable and nearly agreed. Maybe we'd been together for so long that she'd forgotten I have a serious thing about boundaries. As Emily's expression started to shift from casual to impatient, I just nodded. Okay. Then I turned around and walked away without getting in her car. After texting her that we were over, I went straight to the apartment we shared to pack my things, making sure to grab the fluffy mutt we'd raised together. As I was packing, I wished I could be like some tragic hero in a drama, just grabbing a backpack and leaving with all my worldly possessions. But no such luck. Given my current situation, I was probably going to need 2 moving vans. Emily came back while I was still packing. Her forehead was glistening with a thin layer of sweat, and she was slightly out of breath, her eyes filled with a mix of annoyance and confusion. What the hell is your problem? She threw the question at me as if just saying the word problem automatically made me the cause of it. I threw her words right back at her. What the hell is your problem? What are you so mad about? Because Ethan was in the passenger seat? He has the stomach flu and gets carsick. He's a colleague. Can't you show a little compassion? Emily was furious. She snatched the suitcase from my hand and threw it hard against the wall. Scared my dog. I stared at her coldly, taking half a step back without her noticing. Her violent outburst sent a flicker of fear through me. For that comment alone, we're done. All my valuables were in the bag on my shoulder. I covered my little dog's ears so he wouldn't have to listen to the ugly sounds of adults fighting. Emily's face went blank for a second. She knew I never joked about breaking up, but she still tried to pin the blame on me. We're about to get married. Just calm down. I shot back immediately. But we're not married yet, are we? She was getting emotional. Her fair skin flushed red as she tried to grab me. I quickly backed away and beat her to the punch. You need to spend the night cooling off by yourself. I'm not staying here tonight. With that, I grabbed the leash and practically fled with my dog. So why'd you have to take the dog? Alex asked, puzzled. Were you worried she'd hurt Tater? After my impulsive exit, I'd realized that most hotels don't allow pets, so I had to ask a friend for help. When Alex opened the door and saw the 2 of us standing there in silence, he fell silent too. So did I. To be honest, when we first decided to get a dog, I had already considered the custody issue if we ever broke up. I made sure I was the one who paid for him. The purchase contract was in my name only, so I could just take him with me if things went south. Alex had told me back then that if Emily ever found out what I was thinking, she'd kill me. He still couldn't understand why I'd break up with Emily over something so small. I could tell he thought breakups were supposed to happen after you let disappointment pile up until you just couldn't take it anymore and quietly left. But why should I put myself through that over and over again before finally calling it quits? Why would I give her that many chances to hurt me? The moment I see the first sign of something wrong, I'm out. No hesitation. In my eyes, this was a test. Compliance test. If I had put up with it this time, there would have been a next time and a time after that. I'm not going to keep lowering my standards for her. Alex frowned, a look of pity in his eyes. But what about your 4 years together? You're just going to throw all that away? I didn't answer. He sighed. I just hope you don't regret this. The next day, I called a moving company to come get my stuff. Emily hadn't gone to work. She was sitting at the table eating breakfast while a tall figure bustled around in the kitchen. It was her male colleague, Ethan. When she saw me, her eyes lit up for a moment before turning cold again. She looked at me accusatorially. Come to your senses? You blew such a little thing way out of proportion. Ethan even came over specifically to explain it to you. From the kitchen, Ethan emerged carrying a bowl of porridge, wearing my apron. His hair was slightly damp, and he looked so natural and at home you'd think he was the man of the house. He even smiled gently at me. Sorry about that, Jay. I didn't mean for you to get the wrong idea. I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so Emily just gave me a ride home. Please don't be mad at her because of me. I made some breakfast. Why don't you sit down and have some with us? As he spoke, he casually refilled Emily's bowl, revealing a red burn mark on his wrist. Emily's brow furrowed instantly. How were you so careless? Ethan just smiled and shook his head. It's nothing. It doesn't hurt anymore. Emily grabbed his wrist and started blowing on it gently. You idiot. Of course it hurts. Look how red it is. Jay, go get the burn cream. A blush crept up Ethan's face. I watched the scene, so angry I almost had to laugh. If I'd had any lingering feelings for our 4-year relationship before this morning, they were completely gone now. Are your hands broken? Can't you get it yourself? I walked past them, went straight into the room, and started packing everything up. Anything I couldn't take with me, I gave to the junk removal guy for free. As Emily's face turned ashen, I erased every last trace of myself from the apartment. Jay, you better think this through. If you break up with me, you'll never find anyone better. It's not too late. If you put your stuff down right now, I'll pretend none of this ever happened. I cut her off. Are you sure you want to keep going? My gaze shifted to Ethan, who was biting his lip so hard it looked like it was about to bleed. If you say any more, your colleague here is going to start crying. Emily froze, then explained, completely flustered. I told you he's just a colleague. Why can't you let it go? I scoffed. Well, I wouldn't let a colleague sit in my passenger seat and then give them my coat to wear. And I certainly wouldn't let a colleague come into my home, wear your apron, and cook breakfast for me. After packing the last of my things, I turned back and looked at Emily one last time. She stood in the doorway, her brows knitted together, her eyes slightly red. Luckily, her features were so beautiful that she didn't look too fierce. Her face was a big reason I'd gotten together with her in the first place. Suppressing the melancholy in my heart, I gave a little wave. This is it, then. Let's not see each other again. She gritted her teeth, her face twisting into a snarl. Jay, you'll regret this. Emily posted on her social media feed. My karma must be trash to end up dating someone with an avoidant attachment style. People in the comments asked her what happened. She replied, got blindsided with a breakup. Alex told me all this. I had already deleted and blocked Emily and all her friends. When I told Alex that Emily had brought her male colleague home, his attitude did a complete 180. He spent the rest of the night tearing her apart. Is she nuts? And now she's blaming you, saying you have an avoidant attachment style? How about she mentions that she brought a guy home? Just you wait. I'm going to expose this bitch. Alex was furiously typing as he spoke. Sure enough, not long after he posted his comment, Emily deleted her post. He was still so mad he wanted to get into it with her online, but I talked him out of it. It's fine. Even without Ethan, she and I would have never made it. Emily and I came from completely different worlds. Her parents were high-level government officials, and she was their only child. My parents, on the other hand, were farmers with no retirement plan. They also played favorites, doting on my older sister and my younger brother. They were going to send me to work in a factory right after middle school. The only reason they didn't was because my grades were so good, I tested in the top 10 in the city, that one of my high school teachers intervened to keep me in school. College was finally my escape from that suffocating house. Even though Emily never said it, I could always feel a subtle air of superiority from her. When we went out to eat and I'd pack up the leftovers we'd barely touched, she'd think I was being cheap. When I'd comparison shop to find the best deal, she'd think it was a waste of time. In the future she envisioned, I would quit my job after we got married and become a stay-at-home husband. But I have my own career. Even if my position isn't that high up, I beat out 1,000 other applicants for it. Why should I give up my life just for her and become a husband who revolves around his wife and kids? To this day, I can still feel the suffocating shame I felt when I met Emily's parents. They looked me over like I was a head of cabbage at the farmer's market, waiting to be priced. Neither of us was willing to compromise for the other. Ultimately, Ethan was just one of the triggers for our breakup. To cheer me up after the breakup, Alex took me to a bar for a drink. We had just sat down when a girl who looked to be in her early 20s came over and asked for my number. After she left, Alex's eyes followed her as she walked away. He muttered under his breath, "That one just now wasn't bad. Looked like some pop star in training." The girl looked like she was still in college. When she spoke, you could see her sharp canine teeth, which only added to her youthful charm. "I'm not looking to date right now," I said, declining the idea. "Then why'd you give her your number?" Alex teased, a playful glint in his eye. They were drawing cards over there. I could tell they were playing truth or dare. I gestured for him to look at a table not far off, where a group of similarly aged girls was starting the next round of their game. Sure enough, after I got up to leave, the girl messaged me to say she had lost a dare. I didn't reply. I just deleted the chat. On the 7th day after our breakup, Ethan appeared in Emily's social media feed. Alex told me about it, laughing. She said it so only I could see it. I asked a few of her best friends, and they all said they didn't see it. She's betting that I'll tell you, so she posted it just for you to see. You don't think she's trying to pull some grand, dramatic apology tour to win you back, do you? The photo only showed half an arm in the passenger seat, with no caption. At the same time, a friend request from Emily popped up. The note said, "Let me see the dog." I hit ignore. A moment later, another request came through. The note said, "We raised the dog together. Just because we broke up doesn't mean I can't even see him, right?" I was suddenly very glad I'd kept the purchase contract and payment records. When I sent them to her, her meltdown was obvious. "You son of a bitch, you were planning to break up with me all along, weren't you? You're something else, Jay. Turning this around on me after you're the one who changed. Answer my call. We need to talk. Unblock me." I frowned and let out a TSK. So annoying. The next time I saw that girl, it was at the same bar. She seemed to be a regular. She walked in with a group of friends, wearing a denim jacket and casually lighting a cigarette. As she looked up, her eyes met mine. I expressionlessly looked away, my gaze returning to the singer on stage. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw her watching me for a while. We weren't from the same world. That unremarkable jacket she was wearing cost over $4,000, and her lighter was a DuPont. Of course, I didn't recognize any of these luxury brands myself. It was Alex, sitting next to me, who was staring wide-eyed and muttering about them. He casually snapped a selfie and posted it to his feed. What difference would one more rich person in the world make? I thought the same thing. After a while, another girl came over to ask for my number. Her ears bright red and her demeanor a little flustered. It was another dare. This time, I gave her my number, then blocked her before I left the bar. As I walked past the group of girls' booth, I clearly heard a scoff. "You only asked for his number because you lost a dare. So he deleted you, big deal. Why are you all sad about it?" Outside the bar, Alex got called away by some other friends, leaving me to wait for my ride alone. A moment later, a black Rolls-Royce pulled up in front of me. The familiar car made me instinctively frown and turn to leave. The person in the car quickly got out and called my name. "Jay, let's just talk." It was Emily, whom I hadn't seen in days. She grabbed my arm, forcing me to stay. I struggled discreetly. "Let go. I'm not in the habit of chatting with my exes. If you don't let go, I'm calling the cops." She just held on tighter, as if afraid I'd run away. Her beautiful brows were knitted tightly, her eyes filled with resentment. Emily opened the car door and tried to push me inside. Just get in the car. I'll take you home. How did you know I was here? Are you following me? Emily pursed her lips, an unnatural look flashing across her face. I saw Alex's post. I gritted my teeth. That damned kid and his need to post everything he does. Just say I miss Tater. Can you take me to see the dog? Suddenly, a hand grabbed Emily's arm, the one holding mine. While she was stunned, another hand pulled me behind them. It's the 21st century. Are we really still kidnapping people? A lazy voice came from in front of me. It was the first girl who'd asked for my number. And who are you? Get out of the way. This is between me and my boyfriend. Emily's face was cold, her patience completely gone. Boyfriend, not boyfriend, whatever. Didn't you hear him? He's not interested. The girl's back was surprisingly reassuring. Seeing the bar's security guards heading over, Emily's expression darkened. I cut her off before she could say another word. Emily, when it's over, it's over. The fact that we got to this point just proves we're not right for each other. Go home. Don't make me lose all respect for you. She stood there silently for a long moment before her voice came out, hoarse and strained. I can't accept this. She couldn't understand how I could just let go of a 4-year relationship so easily. But I could guess why she was so unwilling to let it go. It was simply because I'd left so cleanly, without any drama. She was the one who got dumped, and her pride couldn't take it. Her heart couldn't take it either. After Emily left, I stepped out from behind the girl and thanked her. Thank you. I thought for a moment. What school do you go to? I should get you a plaque for that. What she did counted as being a good Samaritan after all. The girl laughed, took out her phone, and pulled up a chat screen showing a message that had failed to send. She waved it in front of my face. If you really want to thank me, you can add me back. The conversation had stopped at her introduction. My name's Vivien Lin. It hadn't sent. A glaring red exclamation mark was right in front of it. As I added her back, I asked, another lost dare? How'd you know it was a dare? Just a guess. Her eyes curved into a smile. Her lips were red and her teeth were white, but her expression held a lazy, weary sort of charm. The smile added a touch of warmth. You're pretty smart. But not this time. Vivien started texting me from time to time, subtly trying to figure out what kind of girls I liked. When she mentioned Emily, her words were dripping with disdain. Breakups reveal a person's true character. Your ex's character is clearly garbage. Whatever you do, don't get back together with her. If you do, I will personally run you over with a forklift. Has she been bothering you again? Need any help? She seemed to have a lot of free time. Got knocked down in a basketball game today, but I still won. She sent a proud-looking sticker. I took a break from work to reply with a thumbs up. Are you hurt? She replied instantly. If I said I was, would you come see me? I thought about it for a good while. Probably not. I'm at work. She didn't reply. It wasn't until much later, after I had finished my work for the day, that I saw I had several unread messages. When I saw the picture in the chat, I nearly spat out the coffee I had just sipped. The hem of a sports bra was slightly rolled up, revealing a firm, flat stomach. On her right side, just above her hip, was a very faint red mark. If she hadn't been pointing at it, I probably wouldn't have even noticed it. She deadpanned. It hurts a lot. I felt a complicated mix of emotions. If you wait any longer, it'll probably heal on its own. The photo was definitely a bit much. I wasn't sure what Vivien was getting at, so I didn't reply. When Alex found out, he slapped his thigh. This girl is trying to seduce you. Damn, she's got a great body. Remembering how Emily had tracked me down through Alex's social media, a wave of irritation washed over me. You've got some nerve. Emily and I are broken up. Why haven't you deleted her yet? Alex just winked at me. I'm keeping her around like a digital pet. Watching her meltdowns is hilarious. I don't get it. I subconsciously avoided Vivien's advances, only giving polite replies to her messages. On one hand, I was worried she was just using me as a way to pass the time. On the other, I didn't believe in affection that came out of nowhere. Alex said I was being paranoid. You need to believe in love at first sight. I shut that down immediately. No, I don't. That's called lust at first sight. Besides, a good-looking rich girl like her would never be short on admirers. The next time I saw Vivien, it proved my theory right. A tall, handsome guy was pestering her at the bar. She pulled her hand away with an annoyed look on her face, and just as she was about to say something, she looked up and our eyes met. Her beautiful eyes lit up, and she pointed at me. My boyfriend's here. I instinctively looked behind me and saw a bewildered Alex. Seeing this, the guy huffed. Yeah, right. You think I'm stupid? You just grabbed a random guy to pretend to be your boyfriend. TSK. Vivien grabbed a bouquet of sunflowers from the table, walked over, and shoved them into my arms. The bright, sunny scent hit me immediately. She then announced to the guy with a certain air of pride, "Let me introduce you. My boyfriend, Jay." After she said that, she squeezed my shoulder and whispered pleadingly, "Play along." I got the hint immediately and smiled at the guy. "Hi, is there something you need from my girlfriend?" The guy's face instantly turned red. "I don't believe you. I've never even heard of this guy. You just hired an actor to trick me." Vivien frowned, her tone growing colder. "That's enough. Are you trying to force us to make out in front of you?" The guy stormed off in a huff. I watched him leave and then tried to hand the flowers back to Vivien. She had helped me once and I had helped her once. We were even. But to my surprise, Vivien didn't take them. "They're for you." The scent of sunflowers seemed to soak into my clothes. The tips of her ears were slightly red as she glanced at me, then quickly looked away. She asked, "Has anyone ever told you that you're like a sunflower?" Like a sunflower? Some absurd memories flashed through my mind, and I couldn't help but laugh. She clearly didn't know my sister's name was Rose and my brother's was Ash, and there was no beautiful meaning behind my name at all. But Emily had actually said something similar. After she found out the story behind my name, she'd given me an oil painting of sunflowers, saying she would nurture me all over again, just like the flowers in the painting. Later, she decided the painting was tacky and threw it out, frame and all. "Thanks for the flowers, but I can't take them. Just consider today my way of returning the favor for last time." I politely declined her flowers. Vivien stared at me, her eyes dark. After a moment, she quirked her lips into a smile. "Jay, you really seem to want to keep your distance from me. Why? You don't like me?" Before I could answer, a bold smile spread across her pretty face. "I don't believe you." My heart skipped a beat. Even if I tried to deny it, it was obvious now that Vivien was trying to pursue me. I tried to talk her out of it directly. "Give it up. I'm never going to date a girl who's 10 years younger than me." She wouldn't listen. She just shot back, "So what if it's 10 years? If you're rejecting me because of my age, I don't accept it." She was fearless, direct as she fought for a chance. It left me speechless. But then I thought it doesn't really matter. It was just a whim. Once the novelty wore off, she'd naturally move on. I told myself that and didn't get any more tangled up with her. Vivien pursued me with great fanfare for over 4 months. One of her friends even came up to me and said, "Bro, this is the longest Vivien has ever chased a guy without getting him. Keep it up. Ignore her. Let's see how long she can last." To be honest, I didn't think she would last this long either. During this time, she had been surprisingly tactful, always maintaining the perfect amount of distance so that I never felt pressured. My initial vow to never date a girl that much younger than me was starting to waver. The moment she saw me, she would immediately stub out her cigarette and wave the smoke away, a smile breaking out on her bright face. "Off work? I'm taking you somewhere cool today." Vivien patted the back of her motorcycle, motioning for me to get on. I was about to shake my head, the words of refusal on the tip of my tongue, when she started pleading. "Don't be so quick to say no. Today's my birthday. Can you just do this for me as a birthday wish?" But if I was going to reject her, I shouldn't give her any false hope. Not leading someone on is its own kind of kindness. I've always stuck to that principle. "No, just for tonight. It won't be late. After tonight, I'll stop bothering you. I'm begging you. Looking into her beautiful, pleading eyes, I hesitated for a rare moment, and the words caught in my throat. I asked cautiously, "Really?" She immediately lit up like a puppy who just heard the words "wanna go for a walk," nodding enthusiastically. "Really?" I regretted it. The moment I got on the motorcycle, it felt like my body was flying forward while my soul and my brain were trying to catch up from behind. I had no choice but to wrap my arms tightly around Vivien's waist, pressing myself against her back. I could hear her gleeful laughter mixed in with the rush of the wind. After about 40 minutes of riding, we finally stopped. The sky was completely dark by then. We were in an open, grassy field with very few stars in the sky. The moon, however, was full and bright. "What did you want me to see?" I looked around and then turned back to her. I saw her with her back to me, furtively fiddling with something. I heard the click of a lighter, and she turned around holding a cake, the candlelight making her vibrant features look incredibly soft. "Happy birthday, Jay. I hope I'm in your wish." I was stunned. The next moment, the sky lit up as bright as day as fireworks exploded, the sound reaching me a second later. Took me a long moment to find my voice. "How did you know it was my birthday today?" Alex told me. A sour feeling welled up in my chest, and my eyes started to sting. I took the cake from her hands, forced a smile, and said half-jokingly, "I'm the same age as Alex. Why do you call him your bro, but not me?" She scratched her head. "That's different. I don't want you to be my brother." "Didn't you say today was your birthday too?" "I just said that to trick you into coming. You're so hard to get a hold of." Her tone was full of mock complaint. Then, as if remembering something, she pulled a slightly wilted bouquet of sunflowers from her jacket and presented it to me like a treasure. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I took the flowers, my voice soft. "Don't give me sunflowers anymore. I don't like them. I was a sickly child. A neighbor once gave my parents a pot of sunflowers, but my parents had no idea how to care for plants, and the flowers wilted within a week. My father got angry and cursed the flower, calling it cheap and short-lived, just like me. A neighborhood committee member happened to be visiting to register names, and since I didn't have one yet, my father just spat out Jay on the spot. So whenever someone brought up my name, I always felt a sense of irony." After hearing the story, Vivien frowned, a look of sympathy in her eyes. Of course, I didn't expect a kid who grew up surrounded by love to be able to truly empathize with me. I just needed someone to talk to. But then she suddenly pulled me into a tight hug and whispered in my ear, affirming each word. "You are wonderful. The flowers are wonderful. And Jay will always be worthy of love." The fireworks continued to burst brilliantly in the sky. A smile spread across my face, and for the first time, I reciprocated Vivien's feelings. "Thank you. My wish is for both of our futures to be even better." "Vivien, you're in my wish." On the way back, Vivien insisted on taking a picture of our hands and posting it. You couldn't see our faces, just our two hands with fingers intertwined. Not long after she posted it, she got a phone call. I could only vaguely hear words like "it worked." I just assumed she was talking about her successful confession and didn't think much of it. When Alex found out, he teased me. "So what's it like dating someone younger?" "Clingy." I glanced over at Vivien, who was busy playing with my dog. "Extremely clingy." She was the complete opposite of Emily. She was obsessed with marking her territory on me and leaving her mark on everything of mine. Her possessiveness and need for control were off the charts. After she found out that Tater was a dog I got while I was with Emily, she wasn't even very nice to him anymore. Lately, she's been bugging me to knit her a scarf. I have absolutely no talent for that kind of thing, but thinking about Vivien's expensive tastes, I bought the best quality yarn I could find. I was busy with work, but I had to find time to watch scarf knitting tutorials. During a video call, Vivien watched me struggle with the scarf, a huge smile on her face. Her roommate, standing behind her, marveled at the scene. "Look at that goofy grin. You've really fallen for him." "Huh?" The words caught me off guard, and I instinctively looked up. Vivien's face had already darkened. She cursed, and the roommate awkwardly backed away. "Don't listen to her. They're just jealous that I'm in a relationship." I nodded and went back to wrestling with the ball of yarn. When I didn't hear her say anything for a while, I looked up and saw Vivien watching me cautiously. "You're not mad, are you?" I was confused. No, why would I be? I wasn't going to get mad over a thoughtless comment from a college student. Hearing my answer, Vivien finally let out a sigh of relief. The scarf took me half a month. I unraveled it and re-knit it over and over until it was finally done. When I gave it to Vivien, she looked down at it for a long time. "Thank you. I love it." Her voice was laced with an unreadable emotion. I had a feeling something was off, but I didn't know what. I just patted her on the head. I was out walking the dog in the evening when I ran into someone I hadn't seen in a long time. She was wearing a gray overcoat and standing under a tree, watching me quietly. Tater recognized her before I did, his tail already wagging like a helicopter rotor. The smile on my face froze, and I emotionlessly ended the call I was on. It was Emily. After I blocked all of her contacts, she had called me from other people's phones. She was still hung up on why I had broken up with her. She demanded a reason she could accept. "Even if I'm going to die, you have to let me know why," she'd said. She would never be able to move on without a clear reason. I thought she had a short memory, acting like the victim when she was the one who brought her male colleague home. So I told her seriously, "You were testing me, testing my boundaries, testing to see how much I would tolerate. It was so obvious he liked you, and you didn't reject him. Emily, we're not kids anymore. Playing passive doesn't count as turning him down. To someone who likes you, your non-rejection is a green light. Today you ask me to give up the passenger seat for him. Tomorrow you might ask me to give up my wife for him. If I had agreed this time, how could you guarantee there wouldn't be a next time? I just didn't give you the chance to hurt me. What are you so upset about?" On top of that, there was her family, and her growing coldness day by day. I didn't want to dig up old grievances. In the end, I just said calmly, "I'm not in the habit of being friends with my exes. The best exes are the ones who act like they're dead. I hope you can do that. Of course, I won't bother you either. Don't call me again." Apparently, she hadn't been able to do that. I tugged on the leash, about to take a different path, but Emily called out to me. "How have you been lately?" I could tell she hadn't been doing great. She was thinner than the last time I saw her, with faint dark circles under her eyes. "Great," I said, not wanting to talk to her for long. But she knelt down and held out her hand to Tater, who immediately trotted over to her. "Are you with that girl now?" She stroked Tater's head and looked up at me, a hint of longing in her eyes. I turned my head away, avoiding her gaze. "That's none of your business. Don't be so hostile. Even though we broke up, I still want you to be happy. But do you really know her?" I stopped. This wasn't about me, it was about Vivien. "What do you mean?" Emily didn't say anything. She just showed me a picture on her phone. I just took this. It was Vivien at the bar. She had just told me on the phone that she was in her dorm. She plays way harder than you think. If you don't believe me, you can go see for yourself. Emily was sure this would make me suspicious of Vivien. But if it was just about her lying about going to the bar, that wasn't a big deal. I wasn't going to control Vivien's life. But from Emily's attitude, it seemed like there was more to it. I decided to go to the bar and see for myself. Because I refused to get in Emily's car, she just followed me slowly from behind. When I got out of my car, I frowned and asked her, "What are you following me for?" She said, "To watch the show." I gritted my teeth. That bitch. "So, Vivien, are you going to let her watch this show?" Vivien proved with her actions that yes, she would. Not only did she let Emily watch my humiliation, she utterly destroyed my dignity. When I walked in, I saw Vivien kissing a guy through a piece of paper. The guy looked familiar. It was the same tall guy who had been cornering her at the bar before. He was blushing as he sat close to Vivien. "I almost thought you were really settling down with that old guy. Was it worth spending so much time on a game?" "It was worth it since I won. So what if he's like some uptight professor? He still spent half a month knitting a scarf for me like a good little boy." The girl in the middle, Vivien, was holding the scarf I had just given her the day before, a look of complete indifference on her face. The guy next to her tried to grab it, but she dodged him. Someone else excitedly asked her, "What's the next game? Want to bet on when you can sleep with him?" The words were immediately followed by a burst of harsh laughter. Behind me, Emily cursed and was about to grab a beer bottle and go after them. I held her back. "Don't do anything rash." A flash of pain crossed Emily's eyes. She looked at me with a mix of frustration and disappointment. "Are you just going to let them insult you like that?" Before she could finish, I walked straight over to them. When she saw me, Vivien instantly panicked. "Jay, what are you doing here?" "Let me explain." I snatched the scarf from her hands, then grabbed a beer from the table and threw it in her face. My gaze was calm. Should we even bother with a breakup speech? Or would game over be more appropriate? My suppressed emotions felt like a shaken-up soda bottle, starting to fizz over. I looked with utter disgust into the eyes I once found beautiful and, ignoring her pleading gaze, cursed her viciously. "You love playing games so much, why don't you just play yourself to death? Get lost. I never want to see you again." The guy next to her couldn't sit still any longer. He stood up and pointed at me. "What's your problem, man? You really have a thing for older women, huh? Shut the fuck up." After screaming at the guy, she reached for me, but Emily rushed forward and shoved her away. Recognizing who it was, Vivien became enraged. "Are you still clinging to Jay, you bitch?" Emily sneered. "I'm here to teach a little monster like you a lesson." Was the game fun? Vivien's eyes turned red, and she started fighting with Emily. My mind was a chaotic mess. For a moment, I had only one thought: let them fight, let them kill each other. But in the end, reason won over emotion. I called out to Emily, "Let's go, Emily." They both came from backgrounds where they could get into trouble and be fine. I would be the only one to suffer the consequences. Hearing my voice, Emily stopped and came back to my side. Vivien sat on the floor, looking disheveled, like an abandoned stray. She stared at me, her eyes locked on mine. I didn't look at her again. I just turned and left. It was late by the time I finished helping Emily straighten out her messy clothes. In just a few short hours, another sudden breakup. The moment I walked out of that bar, I deleted every one of Vivien's contacts. I realized, with a sense of grim irony, that I was getting frighteningly good at cutting myself off from relationships. I've made things clear with Ethan. Nothing like that will ever happen again. Can we? As I was putting away the first aid kit, Emily suddenly grabbed my hand. I pulled my hand back with a cold expression and rejected her outright. No, I knew it. Emily wasn't surprised. She let out a long sigh. "If you could let go of our 4 years together just like that, you can definitely let go of a few months with that little girl. You have to be fair. Don't get back together with her either." I rolled my eyes at her. "You don't have to tell me that. Failed relationships aren't worth looking back on, and people who betray you don't get forgiven." I told Alex what happened. He was silent for a long time. "Dude, I'm not trying to judge, but in all these years, I never realized you were such a magnet for toxic people. No wonder that girl was calling me like a maniac yesterday asking where you were." He then voiced the same question I had. "She loves playing games so much. How has she not played herself to death yet?" I didn't say anything. I had already said all the curses I needed to. Vivien couldn't reach me, so she started waiting for me downstairs from my apartment. The bruises on her face hadn't faded yet. The first time she saw me, she opened her mouth to speak, then stopped. She wanted to explain, but she was afraid I would just tell her to get lost. "Stop coming here. Moving is a huge pain." I was annoyed. Her face went pale. "I just moved in not long ago. I don't want to move again. You know what I mean, right?" After a long silence, Vivien's voice was choked with tears. "You're never going to forgive me, are you? Don't ask questions you already know the answer to. I admit I only got close to you at first because of the game. But after all this time, I really did fall for you. Whether you believe me or not, the things I said weren't fake, and the things I did for you weren't fake. And you liked me too, didn't you?" And now she was playing the victim. I almost laughed. Because she thought I liked her, she became entitled. "So what? So you think you don't owe me anything, and that gives you the right to use me as a bet, as a piece of gossip? Your entire approach was based on a lie. How am I supposed to believe you? Vivien, the only thing I regret right now is giving you my number that day because I was afraid you'd be embarrassed about losing a game. I leaned in close to her and whispered in her ear, "Don't you think it would have been so much better if we had never met?" After that, Vivien never came looking for me again. Instead, my company suddenly landed a partnership with a major corporation. As the project lead, my career took off. After some digging, I found out that the chairman of the corporation had the last name Lin, and he had only one daughter. In that respect, Vivien was better than Emily. A tangible benefit is worth 100 times more than a verbal apology. Looking at my suddenly much larger paycheck, I suppressed a smile. If this is how my love life is going to end, I'm willing to date a lot more. After all, as long as you can let go, there's nothing in life you can't get over. Vivien's story. The first time I noticed Jay, it was because a friend pointed him out. She pointed to a man on a sofa not far away and asked with a laugh, "Doesn't he have that whole uptight professor plays rock and roll vibe?" I looked over. He was a man with gold-rimmed glasses and a white shirt, with refined, handsome features. He was shaking a dice cup with a cold expression, his clean, gentle aura completely out of place with the colorful lights of the bar. My friends were playing Truth or Dare, as usual, and my dare was to get a stranger's number. I don't know what came over me, but I went up to that man. As expected, he didn't refuse. In my 20 years of life, very few people had ever refused me. But I didn't expect that as soon as I explained why I'd asked, he would delete me. He had some personality. When my friend suggested that absurd game, I wasn't interested at first until I saw Jay again. If we're going to play, let's go big. 3 months. I bet I can win him over. So I helped Jay at the bar entrance, deliberately saying those ambiguous things. My goal was obvious. Jay was hard to get, so hard that he gave me no openings at all. My friends all told me to give up, that it was just a game we'd come up with on a whim. I didn't listen. I couldn't explain why. He wasn't my type at all, and he was so cold to me. But I wanted Jay's eyes on me. Just a little more and a little more. Jay has a serious thing about boundaries. His annoying ex-girlfriend came to me, almost gloating, and said, "You play around so much. Jay will never accept you." I froze, feeling offended. I put on a sarcastic smile and asked, "So he dumped you because you were dirty?" Sure enough, Emily looked just as offended and angry as I felt. But she told me triumphantly, "No, I wasn't dirty. Especially not when we first got together. I'm not like you. Even though we're broken up now, I truly had him. You can't even get close to him. You'd better pray you can hide it from him for the rest of your life." Emily really got to me. I decided to try one last time. If Jay rejected me again, I would give up. But this time, of all times, Jay agreed. I was ecstatic, but at the same time terrified. Just as Emily had said, I would have to hide it from him for the rest of my life. The day Jay caught me, the sword of Damocles that had been hanging over my head finally fell. It smashed me to pieces. I wanted to tell Jay that none of it was fake, that I really did love him. But I had seen how decisive Jay could be. You only ever get one chance. Once you lose it, it's gone forever. Those beautiful eyes were no longer gentle, but full of disgust for me. I knew then that we were impossible. For many years after that, a sharp pain would ache in my heart from time to time.